bishop is a faithful servant of God and the son of the church. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome in our midst Bishop Robert Emmett Barron.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Well, God bless you all. Thank you very much for that. Listen, I'm delighted to be here with all of you today. And what a place, huh? Gorgeous church. Have you been taking this all in? Just the beauty. Because, as you know, I think it's very important that we lead with beauty. The beauty often draws us in during our culture when talking about the truth can be controversial, talking about the good can be even more controversial. Sometimes just show people the beauty of Catholicism. And they wonder, okay, what culture produced a place such as this? So lead with beauty. Listen, thank you. Where's the deacon? I appreciated your reflection very much. Where did he go? There you are. Thank you for that. I just want to maybe add a compliment to it, because that gospel is so important, everybody, and it provides the basis for our theme today. Go back to the very beginning. How come Jesus, with his disciples, goes to a wedding? The answer the church fathers gave was because he himself in person is the marriage of heaven and earth. In Jesus, divinity and humanity come together. Remember in the prophet Isaiah, it says, your builder, that's God the Creator, your builder will marry you. An extraordinary claim. Everyone talks about God in all the religions of the world. God should be honored and worshiped and adored and so on. But the Bible goes so far as to speak of God marrying us, sharing his life in the most intimate way with us. That's why Jesus, the wedding of heaven and earth, is at a wedding. Now, what do we hear? We hear that the wine has run out. Wine, too, is a very powerful biblical symbol. It runs all through the Old Testament. Wine, which lifts up the spirit, intoxicates us. That stands for grace. It stands for the divine life. What makes us feel alive, the good wine. Mary notices it's run out. Mary here, everybody, in this great Marian part of the world, we're so near Fatima, talk about heaven and earth coming together. It's Mary who speaks now in the voice of ancient Israel. She's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. She's Moses, she's Elijah, she's Joshua, she's all the prophets. And she's saying to her divine son, the wine is running out. These people are separated from you. They've lost contact with you. That's why Jesus came, everybody. He came to reestablish the connection between us and God, so that, listen, the divine grace might flow through us and intoxicate us like good wine. Mary is all the prophets. She's all of Israel. And then that beautiful line which sets the motif for today. Do whatever he tells you. If someone came up to you today and said, you know, that Bishop Barron, he's really something. Do whatever he tells you. Would you follow that? Please don't. Please don't. If anyone tells you that, they're a liar. They're a problem. If it's said in regard to anybody in the world, to any mere human figure in the world, if you were to say about any political figure, well, do whatever he tells you. Any cultural figure, oh, do whatever she tells you. Anybody on social media, oh, do whatever they tell you. Run. Run. See, because that will always turn into some kind of tyranny. Because we're all sinners, right? Everybody in this room, everybody on this planet, we're all sinners. Therefore, never, never, ever succumb to the temptation to do whatever a fellow sinner is telling you to do. Then there's Jesus. Who's Jesus? Not merely one human figure among many, not just a great teacher. but God from God, light from light, true God from true God, right? Jesus is divine, and therefore we can trust him. We should do whatever he tells us. You know, we in the West are so enamored of freedom, aren't we? It's such a high value for us, freedom. What does freedom mean? I love it. John Paul II is looking at me right now. They're very realistic. And he's saying, get it right, Baron. You know, don't. There's a modern view of freedom that says this. Freedom is doing what I want. It's sheer liberty. I hover above the yes and the no, and I decide which one I'm going to do. John Paul II taught us over and over again, that's not real freedom. What's real freedom? And you find it in the Bible. Freedom is, listen now, it's the disciplining of our desire so as to make the achievement of the good first possible and then effortless. I'm going to say that again, I'll give you examples. Real freedom is not doing whatever I want. It's disciplining the desire so as to make the achievement of the good first possible and then effortless. Okay, examples. How many play a musical instrument here? How many guitarists, piano players, etc.? I'm a guitarist, low level, bad, but I play the guitar. Hey, the way you find out how to play the guitar is play it any way you want. Just pick it up and make it up as you go along, right? Play the piano, sure, just play the keys any way you want to. Come on. The way you become a free player of the guitar. Think of like Eric Clapton. I'm dating myself. Who's a guitarist you guys would admire? The great guitarists. Did they get that way by just playing any old way they wanted? No. You internalize the discipline of the guitar, don't you? You get it into your fingers. Guitarists know that your fingers have to bleed, don't they, as you're learning it, because you have to get calluses on your fingers. And then you play these chords and these riffs and so on over and over and over again. And you get the guitar so into your system that now you can play effortlessly, freely. Or learning a language. So we all speak our native language, but a lot of us, how many have learned a foreign language? Yeah, a lot. And I've struggled. I love languages. I find them fascinating, and I've struggled to learn a number of them over the years. Hey, just learn it by talking any old way you want. You make it up. You decide how to speak Portuguese. Oh, come on. You'll be the worst Portuguese speaker in the world. What do you have to do to learn it? You got to accept this long discipline, don't you? Of taking the rhythms and style and vocabulary of Portuguese, this beautiful, complex language, so that it gets into your tongue and your mouth and your mind, right? That's how you learn a foreign language. Right now, I have zero freedom to speak Portuguese. Zero. I'm totally unfree. Can't say a word in it. French, I'm freer, because I spent 3 years over in France. German, I'm not as free, a little bit. What made me relatively free? Oh, talking any way I want. No. By internalizing these disciplines, making the good so ingredient in me that now I can achieve it effortlessly. How come I can speak English so freely? And I can say almost anything I want in English. Well, because this long discipline that began with my parents when I was a little tiny baby and continued all through my education, all the way up to the present day. Freedom is the disciplining of desire so as to make the achievement of the good first possible and then effortless. Now, go back to Cana. Mary, the mother of God, pointing to Jesus, says, do whatever he tells you. Who is he but the good incarnate? Who is he but divinity made flesh? And therefore, when you internalize him, you take him into your mind and your heart and your body and your soul and everything that you have. When you do whatever he tells you, what do you become? Free. I'm so glad John Paul's looking at me. That's what he taught. The founder of World Youth Day, over and over and over again. Read his encyclicals. Over and again, it's this lesson. Christ will set us free. Paul said that, didn't he? It's for freedom that Christ has set you free. That's why this theme is so powerful today. Do whatever he tells you. Now, just one more thing. So what does he tell them to do? He says, fill these jars up with water. What does the water stand for? Something really beautiful. God could simply do everything for us, couldn't he? You know, he could just make us saints, I guess, with a snap of his finger. But what does God want? He wants us to contribute to this process. We give him what we have. We take what we have and we surrender it to him. And what happens? The water, ordinary, becomes wine. Extraordinary. Intoxicating. God, this room it's full of so many gifts. I don't know any of you, but I'm intuiting all the gifts of intelligence and will and mind and dedication and courage in this room. All your future is ahead of you. Do whatever he tells you. That means offer to Christ all that you have. You're an intelligent person. You can use that to, have a great career, make a lot of money, become famous. Nothing wrong with those things in themselves. But dedicate them to Christ. You're a person of a lot of courage and energy, and you could use those to accomplish worldly goods. Okay, fair enough. But deep down, give them to Christ. You've got gifts of singing and of drama. You're a person of athletic ability. Terrific. That might give you worldly success. But give those gifts to Christ. Give that water to him. And you'll find it elevated, transformed, transfigured into something great. This is the saints, everybody, isn't it? The story of the saints. Think of Francis of Assisi. What did he have? I mean, very little. He's a little poor man from Assisi. He gave it all to Christ, though. And Christ lifted it up, transfigured it, transformed it, elevated it. In the great story of the multiplication of loaves, the same idea, isn't it? Crowd of 5,000. Lord, they're all starving. Well, what do you have? Well, 5 loaves and a couple fish. Give them to me. Do whatever he tells you. Give them to me, and you'll find them multiplied unto the feeding of the world. See, everybody, we can change the world with the energy in this room if it's dedicated to Christ. Not spent simply to ameliorate our lives, but give it to the Lord. And then you'll find true freedom. Then you'll find true joy.